It was a foggy night, the kind where the mist wraps around everything like a ghostly embrace. I had just finished my late shift at the office, and all I wanted was to get home and sink into the comfort of my bed. I'd ordered some food for delivery, hoping it would arrive soon so I could unwind. As I drove through the dimly lit streets, the glow of the city seemed to fade behind me. I glanced at my phone, hoping for a text from the delivery driver, but there was nothing. Just the eerie silence of the night, broken only by the occasional distant honk of a horn. I followed the directions on my phone, leading me into a quiet suburban neighborhood. The houses were dark and still, as if everyone had gone to bed early. I felt a slight unease in the pit of my stomach, but I shrugged it off as the result of a long day. Finally, I arrived at my destination. It was an old, decrepit house, its paint faded and the yard overgrown. I double-checked the address. It was definitely the right place. I glanced at the clock. It was well past the estimated delivery time. I sent a text to the driver, asking about the delay, but there was no response. An uneasy feeling began to settle in, like a weight on my chest. I considered just leaving and ordering from another place, but the thought of the delicious meal waiting for me was too tempting. I got out of my car and approached the front door of the house. The porch light flickered, casting eerie shadows on the worn wooden steps. I knocked, my heart pounding in my chest. Seconds felt like hours as I waited in the silence. Finally, I heard a creaking sound, and the door slowly opened. I couldn't make out the face of the person standing there. It was hidden in the shadows of the doorway. They held a bag in their hand, presumably my food. "Sorry for the delay," a voice mumbled from the darkness, barely audible. It was a low, raspy voice that sent a shiver down my spine. I hesitated for a moment, the unease growing stronger. But I was hungry, and my exhaustion outweighed my fear. I reached out to take the bag, but as my hand brushed against the person's fingers, a chill surged through me. I pulled the bag away, trying to get a glimpse of the person's face, but it was still obscured. I mumbled a thank you, my voice shaky, and quickly turned to leave. As I walked back to my car, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off, that this entire situation was wrong. When I finally got home and opened the bag, my appetite vanished. The food looked wrong. The colors seemed muted, and an unpleasant odor wafted up from the containers. I couldn't bring myself to take a bite, the unease from earlier now blossoming into full-blown dread. As I threw the food away, I noticed a strange marking on the bottom of one of the containers, a symbol I didn't recognize. It sent a shiver down my spine, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I had narrowly escaped something truly sinister. I decided to look up reviews for the food delivery service, and that's when I stumbled upon a chilling revelation. There were multiple reports of strange occurrences with deliveries from the same place I'd ordered from. People talked about eerie delivery drivers, delays that ended in bizarre encounters, and food that just seemed off. My heart raced as I realized the danger I'd unwittingly put myself in. What if the delay at that creepy house wasn't just a mistake? What if I'd narrowly escaped something much darker? I couldn't sleep that night. The image of the obscured figure at the door burned into my mind. It was as if I'd danced on the edge of a nightmare, a world where the ordinary had become a twisted, terrifying reality. The next day, I reported the incident to the authorities, but there was little they could do. The address I'd been given led to an abandoned house, and the food delivery service claimed no knowledge of any issues. It was as if the whole thing had never happened, as if I'd crossed paths with a malevolent force that existed only for a fleeting moment. Since that night, I've been haunted by the idea that there are things out there, lurking in the darkness, waiting for unsuspecting souls like me. I'll never forget the feeling of that encounter, the lingering sense that I'd been inches away from something truly sinister. And now, every time I order food delivery at night, a chill runs down my spine, and I can't help but wonder what might be lurking just beyond the door, waiting for its next unsuspecting victim.